3 years back, my ex-husband, who's 37 now, and I, a 40-year-old woman, decided to end our marriage. We're parents to a young teen girl and a son in his tween years. A major reason behind our split was the complex situation surrounding my ex's family wealth. This wealth wasn't just money in the bank. It came wrapped in layers of bureaucracy, with a team of at least 4 lawyers and accountants hovering constantly. They acted as if they expected us to blow through the fortune on a whim. Throughout our marriage, this meant that even though there were ample opportunities to use this wealth for good, to invest or help others, we were constantly held back, being reminded that technically, this wasn't our money to use. What made matters worse was how my ex positioned everything within our marriage. It was always a tale of two pots. One, the generational wealth, which was untouchable without the nod from the financial gatekeepers, and two, what he directly inherited, clearly marking it as his, leaving my name off it. I grew tired of feeling like I had to ask for permission for everything, missing the sense of privacy and partnership that marriage is supposed to bring. My ex, despite having the means, never really stood up for us or tried to empower me to achieve more, say by starting a business. He inherited several properties, yet only a condo was ever put in my name. Leaving the marriage, I realized I yearned for a life and relationships beyond these constraints. Fast forward to today, my ex has moved on, marrying a 29-year-old and welcoming a new toddler into his life. His new wife, having dabbled in various careers post-college, eventually settled on real estate. However, her track record wasn't impressive, with no significant deals for the first 2 years except for broker's fees from the high-demand student rental market. Despite this, my children were buzzing with excitement over a party at one of their father's high-value properties, now listed under his new wife's name, her first real listing. This situation felt like a direct insult to me, especially considering how properties were handled during our divorce. The party became a central topic for my kids, who were involved in the preparations, from making posters to choosing the food. My ex's new wife even bought my daughter a dress without consulting me, which was the final straw. My frustration led to a moment where I told my friend that it was either me or their stepmom for my kids, a comment they unfortunately overheard. Now, with both kids upset and insisting on attending the party during their dad's weekend, I'm left navigating this tension alone, questioning if I'm the one at fault here. It's clear I might need some counseling to deal with the ongoing strain this situation is causing, not just for me but for my children as well. My ex-husband and I split up 3 years ago, partly because his family's wealth was a maze of restrictions and controls. It was as if the money had its own guard dogs, a team of lawyers and accountants watching every move, making us feel like we couldn't touch a dime without a board meeting. They acted as if we'd go on a wild spending spree the moment we got a little freedom. This wealth, which could have been a blessing, felt more like a golden handcuff, restricting our ability to make a difference or invest in our dreams. My ex made it clear. The wealth was his, guarded by generations of tradition and legal red tape, leaving me feeling like an outsider in my own marriage. After we went our separate ways, my ex moved on quickly, marrying a younger woman who had dabbled in various careers before settling on real estate. Despite her lack of significant success in the field, my ex entrusted her with selling a high-value property. This decision felt like a personal slight, especially since I had been excluded from owning any substantial property during our marriage. The situation escalated when my children became involved in promoting their stepmother's listing, further blurring the lines between family loyalty and financial interests. The culmination of these events and my reaction to them has led to tension within the family. Despite the complexities of our past and the financial disparities that define my marriage, the focus now shifts to the well-being of my children. They remain caught in the middle, witnessing the aftermath of a marriage that struggled under the weight of generational wealth and the ongoing challenges of blending families. As I navigate this delicate balance, the importance of fostering a positive environment for my children takes precedence, urging a reassessment of priorities and the pursuit of a harmonious family dynamic. Elaine has hit that stage where she's all about flaunting her soon-to-be grandma status. She's on cloud nine, turning every conversation into a reminder of her new title. It's like she's joined the ranks of those who wear their proud grandma badges a bit too loudly, the kind that make those eye-roll-inducing jokes about needing to pick up knitting or how they're suddenly experts in all things baby because, well, grandkids. Her excitement's turning into a whole performance, one that's hard to ignore. Even when we were out mountain biking, trying to enjoy a bit of adrenaline and nature, she couldn't help but circle back to her impending grandmahood. I mean, I get it, congratulations are in order, and I've played my part in the celebration. But there's only so much grandbaby talk one can take before it starts to feel like you're trapped in a loop of baby fever excitement. So, I might have let my patience wear thin and pointed out that this grandparent gig wasn't some award for world's best parenting, more a twist of fate involving some unexpected life choices by her son and his girlfriend. Elaine threw the jealousy card my way, but honestly, it's not about envy. It's about the reality of a situation where her son and his girlfriend, who faces her own challenges, are stepping into a massive new responsibility. The whole conversation took a turn for the worse, with accusations of being judgmental flying around. Elaine's determined to stay in this bubble of grandma euphoria, speaking in hashtags and bumper sticker wisdom that could make anyone cringe. I suggested that maybe it's time to ground the conversation in reality, but that didn't go over well. Am I out of line here? It's not that I don't understand the joy of welcoming a new family member, but the endless, over-the-top grandma talk, especially when it ignores the complexities of the situation, is a bit much. Elaine's son and his girlfriend are facing a challenging journey, one that deserves more than just cutesy slogans and idealized visions of grandparenting. It's a time for support, understanding, and maybe a bit more realism about the challenges and joys ahead. After a rocky start due to a complicated relationship history, my husband and I found ourselves in a challenging yet fulfilling chapter of our lives. We had just embarked on the adventure of homeownership and were in the thick of renovations when we learned that my stepdaughter needed a place to stay. Despite the less than ideal conditions for a young child, we opened our home and hearts to her. It's been a journey of ups and downs, but we finally found our footing, creating a stable and loving environment for her. Fast forward, I'm now 5 months pregnant. This wasn't something we planned, but it's a new chapter we're excited to embark on together. Yet, this news hasn't been met with enthusiasm from my stepdaughter. It seems fear and insecurity have clouded her excitement. Whispers and worries from school friends about being replaced or sent away have taken root in her mind. In an effort to quell these fears and make her feel cherished, we planned an elaborate birthday celebration. With contributions from both our families, everything was set for a memorable day. Her birthday on the 22nd, with the party to follow on the 25th, was meant to be a beacon of how much she means to us. However, tensions flared when her mom dropped her off at our place, hurling accusations and threats about the upcoming party. It was a moment fraught with hostility, leaving us to consider the safety and enjoyment of all the guests. Faced with the possibility of having to cancel the event, I chose honesty over false reassurance when speaking to my stepdaughter about the situation. It was a difficult conversation, one that left her distressed and my husband and me at odds over the best approach. The root of these threats seems tangled in historical prejudice and unresolved animosities, with my family unjustly caught in the crossfire. It's a situation that weighs heavily on me, as the well-being and happiness of my stepdaughter are paramount. Despite the challenges, my aim was to navigate this with integrity and openness, hoping to shield her from further disappointment. Yet, the question lingers, was candor the right choice, or have I inadvertently added to her worries? Navigating the delicate balance of family dynamics and emotions can be like walking a tightrope, especially when it involves a child who's already faced more than her fair share of challenges. The situation you're describing brings to light the intricate dance between protecting a child's emotional well-being and addressing real-world concerns. It's a tough spot to be in, dealing with the fear that your stepdaughter's mother's actions and words have cast a shadow over what should be a joyful family occasion. The decision to share the possibility of canceling the party with your stepdaughter, while made with the best intentions to be transparent, might have added to her sense of insecurity and fear of abandonment. Creating a stable, safe, and loving environment for a child who has experienced trauma is paramount. It's not just about shielding them from further harm, but also about building trust and ensuring they feel valued and included in the family dynamic. In situations where safety becomes a concern, involving authorities like the police is a practical step, but it's also crucial to find ways to maintain a sense of normalcy and joy for the child. Canceling the party could indeed be seen as letting the disruptive behavior of the mother win and potentially deepen the disappointment and feelings of instability for your stepdaughter. Incorporating your stepdaughter in the preparations for the new baby is a wonderful suggestion. It's an opportunity to strengthen her sense of belonging and reassure her that her place in the family is not only secure but cherished. Whether it's picking out baby clothes, deciding on decorations for the baby shower, or even giving her a say in the baby's room decor, these are tangible ways to involve her in this significant family milestone. Refreshing her own space with something as simple as a new comforter can also serve as a symbol of her unique and valued role in the family. Addressing the issue of bullying, especially when it comes from peers insinuating that she might be displaced by the new baby, is critical. It's essential to communicate with her school and ensure that she feels supported not just at home but in her wider social circles as well. Transitioning to your family situation, it's evident that Paula's approach to pregnancy and her interaction with family members during such times can be perplexing. Her lack of enthusiasm during pregnancies, followed by a sudden intense interest post-birth, can understandably cause discomfort and confusion. It's one of those scenarios where open communication might help bridge understanding gaps. Perhaps there's an underlying reason for Paula's behavior that could be addressed through heartfelt conversations. As you navigate these personal and family dynamics, finding a balance between addressing concerns and fostering inclusive, supportive relationships will be key to nurturing a positive environment for everyone involved. All right, let's give this a bit of a makeover, aiming to keep the essence of your story while making it flow more like a natural conversation. And remember, we're making it just as engaging without trimming down the essence or the details. So picture this. Whenever the first share any slice of my pregnancy journey, whether it was the baby's first kick, those heart-melting ultrasound pics, or even revealing the baby's gender in our own quirky way, Paula's reactions were pretty much like a broken record. She'd hit me with either an okay, a shrug off like that's not a big deal, or the classic is that all she can talk about? At first, I brushed it off, thinking it was just Paula being Paula. But then, things started to shift. My dad, who was initially all ears about the baby updates, began to pull back. It was as if his excitement was slowly being siphoned away, and he started missing out on key moments, like our unique name reveal luncheon or the baby shower, all because Paula deemed them unworthy of their time. Fast forward to Halloween, and my little bundle of joy decides to make an entrance. Given the cold shoulder we'd been getting, I opted not to loop in my dad and Paula right away. Why bother, right? After nearly 9 months of feeling sidelined, it felt pointless. The hospital stay was a tight-knit affair, just us and our nearest and dearest. It wasn't until I shared the first glimpse of my son on Instagram that my dad got the news, leading to that inevitable phone call. He was baffled, wondering why they were out of the loop. My response: if they couldn't bother to show interest when it mattered, they could wait for updates just like everyone else. Now, as you can imagine, this didn't sit well with them. Accusations flew saying I was playing games, using my son as a pawn, all because they skipped a few dumb parties. My stance was backed by my husband and the rest of the family, though my sister suggested I might have been a tad harsh, especially with dad. She's convinced Paula's the root cause and thinks I owe dad an apology, considering this was his grandchild debut. Here's a twist. Though Paula doesn't have kids and apparently doesn't plan to. The more I think about it, the more it seems like her indifference might be a shield. Maybe it's about her unresolved feelings on not having kids, compounded by her being with someone significantly older and watching others celebrate these milestones she's chosen to skip. It's like she's trying to downplay their importance to validate her choices, or perhaps it's the missed spotlight of being the one expecting that's really getting to her. But here's the kicker. My dad's choice to align with Paula's detachment was on him. Whether Paula's issues stem from personal regrets or a craving for attention, it didn't excuse them from fading into the background during such a pivotal chapter in our lives. So, here's the reality: dad had a choice, right? And it looks like he chose Paula's vibes over getting into the whole grandbaby excitement. You're just doing what feels right, laying down those boundaries like a boss. You're not in the wrong for expecting a bit more effort on their part to be part of your son's life. It's not just handed to them on a silver platter. They've got to earn that privilege. Now, onto a touchy subject, infertility, and all the complex feelings around having kids or not. It's still kinda hush-hush in society, isn't it? Sometimes people might come off as indifferent or even negative about the whole kid scene, but deep down, they're grappling with some really tough decisions or circumstances. It's no free pass for their actions, but it does throw in a bit of perspective. Maybe there's more beneath the surface of their reactions to your baby news. But here's where it gets sticky. Everyone's kinda missing the mark.